Hello everyone, in this video we'll be talking about a very important aspect of programming, that is object-oriented programming. So here we'll see how to create classes. Now classes are a very powerful way of representing your data. Okay, so it's basically used to group together or club together logically connected functions or variables. Okay, so together all these functions and variables form an entity called class. Let's see how this is done. So a class is created using this keyword class followed by the class name. Now as per the naming convention, the class name starts with capital letter. So let's say my class name is bank. So I'm going to create a bank class with functions like deposit and withdraw money. Okay, so I have a class called bank. Now this is, all the classes are also block of statements. So it has to start with a colon, and everything that I write inside a class has to follow a level of indentation. So here, let's say I want to keep it empty as of now. So if you have to create an empty class, you just have to write pass over here. So pass basically means don't do anything. Okay, so it will just pass it, because if you've created a block, you have to write at least one line of code inside it. You cannot leave it empty. So you just write pass. Now in order to execute the functions present inside a class, you need something known as object of that class. In order to create objects, you can use constructor. So let's say the first object is customer1. Now if you have to use the default constructor that is present with the class, you just write the class name followed by empty parentheses. So it's like a function call. It's look like a function call, but it's basically creating a customer of this bank class. Okay, now let's write a function inside this. Deposit. Okay, and remember, every function that you create inside a class will have self as its first parameter. Okay, I'll explain what self is in a while. And then second parameter could be anything. So let's say balance, or rather amount makes more sense. Okay, colon. For now I'll just print the amount. Okay, just to see what it does. Now I cannot access this function directly outside. It will throw me an error. Okay, I cannot access it directly even if I pass some value. What I have to do is I have to use the object to access all the functions present inside a class. Now remember, all the functions inside a class are known as methods. So all the methods cannot be called directly. Methods have to be called using the object of the class. So I'll have to say customer1 dot the function. This is how you call the function. So you can see it's printing amount. Now if you notice, there are two parameters of your function and I'm just passing one argument, and there is no default parameter, and still it is not throwing me an error. That's because self is not a normal parameter. What self basically is the reference to the object which is calling the function. So in this case, the self is nothing but your customer1. Okay, because that is what is calling your function. Okay, if I create another object, and mind you, you can create as many objects of the class as you want. So each object can access this deposit method. Okay, so every time an object calls this method, the self will change. The value of self will change. The reference to that object will change. Okay, so let's make it more clear by creating another object. Okay, so I now created another object. Now when I'm depositing certain amount, I need something known as bank balance, right? Because every time I deposit an amount, my bank balance should increase. So what I'll do is I'll create attribute of each object. Okay, so I'll say balance is equal to, let's say, 1,000 rupees. Okay, and customer2 dot balance is equal to, let's say, 3,000. So now what I'll do is, inside this deposit function, I'm going to add the deposited amount to my balance. So in order to make sure that I am depositing the amount to the customer's bank balance, there are two customers, right? So if customer 1 is depositing 89 rupees, it should be added to the balance of customer 1. So in order to ensure that, we can use self. So what I can do is self dot balance. So basically it means customer 1's balance has to be added with this amount. Now let's print this. So right now, as you can see, only customer 1 is calling this deposit method. So the balance of that customer is now 1089. Now let's call this, I'll comment this line. So now let's customer 2 call the deposit method. Okay, and let's say the person is depositing 100 rupees. So now you can see the balance is 3100. So this should give you a clear picture of how the self works. So based on the object which is calling the method, the value of self changes. Okay, so here in this case it is saying that customers 2 balance is changing. Okay, the self is now referring to customer 2 because customer 2 is calling the deposit function. So this is how self works. Now I might have hundreds of customers for this bank, and instead of, and if balance is such a mandatory thing for all the customers to have, instead of declaring it individually as an attribute for all the objects, what I can do is I can initialize this while creating the object. Let's see how to do that. Now what I'll do is I'll create another function inside this class, or another method inside this class called init. Now this is double underscore init double underscore. Okay, now since this is also a method, so it will take self as the first parameter, and then whatever you want all the functions, whatever you want all the objects to have. So I want all the objects of this bank class to have balance as one of the attribute. So I'll write it here. If you need something else like account number or anything else, you can keep on adding it here. Now this line here basically means that whichever object is getting created, that object's balance is the value that is being passed here. Let me explain this with an example. So I'm going to remove all of it now. Okay. Now while creating the object, what I'll have to do is the class name, and within the bracket the value for this particular attribute or whatever attributes this init function has. So let's say the balance is 10,000. Okay. Created. Customer 1 object has been created for this bank class with a balance of 10,000. Okay. Now if this customer 1 calls this deposit method and deposits, let's say 200 rupees, you can see that the balance has been taken from this place. How did this happen? Because of this line. So basically I'm saying for customer 1, as I had mentioned, self refers to the customer or to the object, right? So customer 1's balance is the value that is being passed here, which is this particular value. So wherever I use self.balance, it will refer to the customer's balance, which is being defined inside this init method. So I can again create customer 2, and for that I can have a separate bank balance, let's say 50,000. Okay, and then if customer 2 calls the deposit method with let's say 10,000 extra, you can see that the bank balance has been changed here to 60,000. So this is how self works, and this is how, using your objects, you can use all the methods present inside the class. Another important thing is that you can have description to your classes. So you can add a doc string here and write whatever you want to inside this. It would be considered as commented. Okay, it's just a description to the class that you want to give. So let's say this is a class for a bank with functionality like deposit. Later on, if you add more functions, you can add those in the description as well. Okay, so later on, if you for now it's of no use because I know what this class is about and what all functions are present. But let's say I look at this code after 5 months, I might not basically remember what this class does, or if someone else has to access my class, this description comes in handy a lot. So in that case, if someone else is looking at your code, he can easily identify what this class is about just by this description. Okay. Another important thing is this help. So if I write help bank, it will give me the entire description of my class. So it tells you that this is a class, this is the exact sentence that I have written here in the doc string. Then it tells me that these are the methods present inside the class. Okay, so again, if you're looking at some piece of code which you don't really understand, you're not aware of the class and the functions it has, you can use this help function. Okay, so this was about one aspect of class. There are a few more things that I want to discuss about classes, which you can see in the next video. Thank you.